Welcome to the dumpster fire that is spending 100 days in Minecraft with dragons and horses. I will be your guide today on our adventure. So buckle up and put on your life jackets because this is about to get wild. Even though this is going to be wild, we do have some guidelines and goals. Number 1, I am allowed to keep inventory, and reasoning is because I die a lot. Number 2, if my original dragon dies, I'm allowed to respawn it until it gets to level 4. Once it gets to level 4, if it dies, it is dead. Number 3, I'm allowed to utilize waystones. Number 4, no creative cheating. Number 5, I don't know, I'll make it as I go along. Never have done this before. Also a disclaimer that I had 34 full hours of footage I had to go through, and obviously I couldn't include all of it, so I chose the best or most visually appealing parts. My goals are to have a full set of Amethyst armor for myself, a full set of high-level armor for my SWEM horse, to defeat the Ender Dragon, defeat a boss, defeat Godzilla, hatch another dragon, and to have my original dragon reach level 5. So first, we load into the world. It seems we got a starter chest containing a few things and some dragon eggs. We get to pick one of the eggs and 2 are for later. Let's go with the green, as that is my signature color. So, it was time to, of course, start hatching the dragon. While I waited, I chopped some wood, but obviously I wasn't very good at it. Then I got chased by zombies, so I blocked myself in a hole till morning. The next morning, I went to investigate an odd creature. I wanted to pet him, but obviously he did not feel the same. So then, my baby dragon hatched, and I decided to give it the name Irae. So, we went and chopped some more trees. Just stockpiling wood so you wouldn't have to do it later. Finally, I'm getting the hang of chopping. So then I went mining for materials. Just a heads up, there was a lot of mining in this, so I tried to skip by it a little. Like, my great-grandfather worked in the mines, but that doesn't mean I should. Then I get absolutely jump-scared by the skeleton, and in real life I actually jumped out of my chair and flinched harder than a Pokemon after headbutt. Then I smelted some sweet old iron, because apparently I cannot get enough of that in real life. Then I look at an Enderman wrong and he kills me. Seriously, bro? Then I go back to mining. I check in on my dragon and try to put him in the horn, but then I get attacked by a skelly boy because he didn't like my skin, so then I covered it with armor. Then, with my new armor, I get dunked on by a zombie. Then I get harassed by my arachnophobia. I find a cute little tunnel and get some amethyst, which is important for my future armor. Some lapis so I can change my horse color, and cantazurite to swimify. And then a sapphire, because it's pretty, like me. Then I find a cool little spider spawner and some chests. Nothing spectacular though. I go back up to the surface and find a place to live. I start building my mediocre noob house that I built on everything. I cut some more trees because we love deforestation. I grab some sand to make some windows because I want to be able to see who is stalking me and look them deep in their eyes. So it turns to night and I'm sitting in my very safe house as impenetrable with no roof and the entire second layer missing. I put some windows up because safety. I put down a floor because why not make it even more susceptible to fire when I have a dragon on the floor? So then I gazed up into the night sky, contemplating my life choices. Then I woke up and chopped some more wood. I should become a lumberjack. Probably pay more than my intended job after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a degree to get so done. Then I kill some walking burgers to get revenge for lactose intolerant people. Then I feed my dragon. To feed my dragon even more, I build a farm. Gotta light it up so my eyes burn. Then I make my infinity water source because it is the only thing that is constant in my life. Then, using my lackluster farming skills, I go to town on the soils. Finally, my soil science class is coming in handy. Then, I go attack a witch because she looked at me funny, but then I got poisoned, so I'll leave that fight for another day. The next morning, I have Irae on my back and she just isn't feeling life. So, she kicks the bucket. Well, I guess drowns in the bucket. So, I spawn a new Irae. Alright, Irae, I'm going to take great care of you. Let's go explore the world together, just you and me, on an adventure, forever and ever. Oh. Well. RIP. Rest in peace. So, then I stuck Irae's head on a stick to assert dominance. And then I spawn another Ire. This one won't die, I swear. I did level this one so I didn't die so easily, as I was spending more time trying to keep the thing alive rather than playing the game. I set up my progress signs and it's not looking too bad so far. I decided to create some armor for my dragon, but I can't put it on until she's bigger. So I go mining again to remind myself that I'm playing Minecraft and not watching Game of Thrones. Then I did what my mom told me not to do and went strip mining and found some diamonds. Then I went back home and did some farming. It is now time to create the animal pen. What do you think you're looking at, Ire? So I brought some more animals to their doom. I also spot my friend from the beginning, and this reignites my need for vengeance. I do some more farming so I can make some more meat. Animals. Then I go exploring and get some kelp to create some refined leather and to tame a certain species if I come across it. I come upon a graveyard and a nether portal, but first I have to assert my dominance over a deer. Some decent stuff in the chest though, so I go check the chest in the tomb, and boy, they ain't happy that I paid them a nice visit. Where are the Ghostbusters when you need them? So I go back and kill the ghost for their second time. I don't know why they want to come back, to be honest. So I light the nether portal because why not? I take a little visit but decide to put it off until later. On my way home, I forget that fall damage is a thing. Then I go play some farming simulator. Timothy, the disrespect! Then I felt like eating some KFC, so I began to decimate the poultry population. Then I spot some centipede lizards called rooststalkers. I decided to tame them and force them to join my army. Then I must assert my dominance once again over the deer, because this field ain't big enough for the both of us. I gaze into the sunset, contemplating my war crimes. We get home and I begin to beef up my boys. I then arm them with axes. I go and forcibly recruit more of them, but then I spot two green rhino-looking things. Apparently they wanted to reach me about my car's extended warranty, but I didn't want to hear any of it. So I hid in my house and look longingly out my window, plotting my revenge. So then his wife kills me. So I kill his wife. I find a village and steal a brewing potion to make a Cantazarite potion. Then I get murked by some zombies because I refuse to join their undead army. I found another nether portal in the chest. Nothing exciting though. Then I found some more diamonds. So then I went back to tame the husband after I killed his wife. I think he is holding a grudge. But then he finally forgets about her because 40% of marriages end in divorce. I then bring him home and he is named Devlin. I attempt to brew a Cantazarite potion, but I realize that I need blaze powder. So I make some refined leather because regular leather obviously is not good enough. Then I go get blaze powder. A piglin decides to spawn kill me, which is honestly such a try-hard move. I then go back to the nether and enact my revenge on the piglins. I steal their life savings and an awesome pickaxe. I then decide to kill their extended family to end the bloodline, but I get decked by a twice-removed cousin. I go back and get my blaze powder before dying to a blaze. When I get back, I go and tame a horse and turn it into a SWEM horse, as it makes terrain travel very, very easy. I tame two horses, Ripple, my boy, and Bullseye. I decide to create them some armored blankets so they don't get picked off in the night. SWEM horses are hard to kill already, so why not make them reach god status? On day 21, I go exploring with Ripple. We are going to look for some animals to commit homicide. I then find some wolves and recruit them to my army. I then send them onto a deer because its presence insults me. I then spot an alpine dragon, and I hear wing beats overhead, and another dragon joins her. But first, I decimate local populations. Then I sacrifice a bee and he loves me. He decides to be as obnoxious as possible, so this confirms his fate. I sacrifice another bee and regret that I failed the spelling bee in elementary school. So then, we continue on our journey. Family discourse ensues, and the kids fight like they're in the backseat of a car on the way to Disney World. Except this isn't Disney World, and someone dies. We then happen upon a SWEM structure. I see a Cyclops in the background, and I decide I would like to live another day. I explore, and there's a ton of cool stuff in it. I raid their cabinets like a Viking from 1000 AD. I run out of room, so I put my extra stuff in my SWEM saddlebag on Ripple. Then, we start heading back home with all of our new friends. And here's Ripple showing off his swimming skills. This is foreshadowing for events that weren't recorded, aka Ripple got shredded by a reincarnation of the Loch Ness Monster. We then return home and the dragon receives the name Tempest. Look at my army, growing slowly but surely. Also, Irae is finally big enough to fly. So we go for a spin. I spot a little white dragon and decide to follow it. It brings us to a little temple which I've never seen before. So I make Irae land and I go inside. I switch some levers and I'm met by Medusa. I go back and grab Irae and decide to take her on a flight. We then get attacked by some sort of hawk creature who thinks Irae is there to save them 15% on car insurance. So I commit aerial arson and burn down an innocent village. Irae and I fly home in victory and enjoy the beautiful scenery. Just enjoying this moment. We then come across a black dragon, so I sacrifice another bee. So much for saving the bees. I spot a red wild dragon in the distance and decide to square up. Irae and I miss the flames, but the black dragon decides that flying into fire was the best option. So the red dragon torched the black dragon for getting in her way. Irae then decides not to move and just tank the fire blast while I burn to death. So I respawn and grab Irae and come across another black dragon. I tame it and keep it far away from the red dragon. We then fly back home together like star-crossed lovers. So then, we return home and I decide to try and breed my two dragons. They laid an egg which hatched this white dragon. Someone lied. He then decides to reside my farm like a garden gnome. I then decide it is time to suit up Irae. Look at her all nice and shiny. I then give her some more meals to beef her up even more. We then go on another adventure. We eventually spot some sirens and decide to torch them to stop their horrid singing. I then get attacked by a Leviathan, as he must have enjoyed the singing and hated that I put an end to it. We then come to another Medusa temple. I decide to pull a Daenerys Targaryen and burn it all down like King's Landing. Season 8 sucked. So I died again, and I went home and sharpened my sword. I came back and mercilessly ignited Medusa. There was nothing left of her. She went up in smoke, just like my hopes and dreams. We then continued on our journey and came across a massive skeleton of a dragon and a funky creature straight out of Beetlejuice. So, we light it up with no mercy. We then come across a reincarnation of Irae trying to get revenge for her many deaths. Sorry about that. An epic dragon fight ensues. Then, it finally died. Another green dragon dead. I then go and check the chest in the nest, and there's nothing in them. I was so angry. Then, I came across another dragon skeleton. So I steal its bones to add to my collection. How morbid. We then spot another dragon. This time it is lightning. An epic chase scene commences. He does kill me, but I have got an anime on my side, so I kill him with an arrow to the heart. I steal his flesh like the cannibal I am. I then torch another Beetlejuice worm because why not? I then craft StarWormEquestrian mods, Amethyst armor, bow, and sword. This set is so OP and my favorite among any of the armors in any mod. I then enchant it to become God himself. I then wonder what to do with the extra dragon heads. Oh, wait, I know. Mount them on a post to assert dominance. What a wonderful sight. I then go on another adventure with Irae and we come across that darn red dragon again. So I attempt to battle it, but then later decide to save the fight for another day. We come across a cute little village. Before I raid their life savings, I decide to make the deer pay for their war crimes and burn them alive, making sure to end their bloodlines. No survivors. So, I steal the equivalent of what's left of the US Social Security Fund. And then, I decide to go after an ice dragon to punish him for not doing a better job stopping global warming. Welcome to the collection, little one. I then go and burn an unsuspecting Cyclops alive, because it gives me PTSD from Wizard 101. When I return home, I notice half of my house is missing, so I repair it lazily. Then it starts thundering, so I go attempt to tame the Leviathan. I throw some raw meat at him, and he loves me. I take him for a relaxing swim. To be honest, I think I still prefer the SWEM horses, though. Aw, look at us. What a happy and functional family. Then I kill an Enderman because he looked at me funny. Then I decide to spawn the Wither because I craved violence. His murderous instincts got the best of me first, but then I came back and gave a nice little stabby stab as payback. So, I hung his remains on my wall to assert dominance. Then, I made a ton of golden apples and carrots, and decided to build a nether portal to go to the nether to get blaze rods so I can craft ender eyes to go to the end. I craft them and force them to obey my will by throwing them up in the air. I have to return to the mines once again, but this time I actually find something. The end portal. So, I brought Irae to this fight to recreate the epic battle scenes of How to Train Your Dragon. Except, I never trained a dragon, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I find out that dragon fire cannot destroy the crystals, so I have to shoot them with my excellent bow skills. Then I decided to take a shot at Mr. Ender Dragon, and he took it as an insult to his entire family, but then chickened out last minute like the terrible husband he is. So then, I channeled my inner Merida and put him out of his misery with a well-placed arrow. I then steal his only heir and pose with a sleepy ire. I then spike his child on a stick to assert dominance. Around day 60, I believe it is a time of peace instead of war. So I begin to build a horse stable for my 2 horses, Ripple and Bullseye. Oh, and I also murdered a traveling villager and forced his llamas to submit to my authority. It seems like they like it. My urge to play farming simulator took over. Then, I see the illegitimate son of my dragon sleeping on the roof. How dare he? So the next day, I take Irae out and we wipe out populations of drakes and dragons with ease. So then, I burn a Medusa temple out of pure hatred, but she gets to me first. I kill some more creatures, then I stumble across a dragon cave. I go into the dragon cave and absolutely obliterate a mother protecting her eggs. So, I steal them for myself and take her jewels. So then, I do what any sane person would do. Mount her head on a stick to assert dominance. I then try and hatch the eggs to raise the ultimate dragon army. They take a very long time to hatch. Then, they all hatch and become my minions. I force them into submission by showing them ire who will not refuse to swallow them whole. Then, it starts raining and my lightning egg starts doing the wobble. I look outside while waiting for the lightning egg to hatch and see my ice dragon hatched. Then finally the lightning dragon egg hatches and I scoop him up into my clutches. Then I put the baby dragons on house arrest until I can grow them larger with dragon meals. I ended up naming the baby dragons. The green fire dragon was named Viper. The brownish gray fire dragon was named Asherion. The blue ice dragon was named Neve. And the purple lightning dragon was named Searush. Oh, I forgot to mention, during the storm I was able to get these cool skeleton horses. Then, I decided it's time to go on a long trip to get food to level up my dragons. I bring my whole army with me, except for Ire, because she deserves a break. Then, I send my minions to do my bidding for me and annihilate all of the local populations of animals to resemble the Pride Lands at the end of The Lion King. Ripple and I decided to take his name seriously and go for a relaxing swim. Oh, I love this animation. Then we go massacre some more walking bacon and watch the sunset as I contemplate my life choices. I do some more swimming until I come across a bunch of fairies. One steals a singular grass block from me, and this is the final straw. So I mark the entire bloodline. Then I poke the eye out of a cyclops for fun. Then me and Ripple decide to embody Elsa and frostwalk across the ocean. There's a serpent desperate to talk to me about my car's extended warranty, so I stab him because I hate spam calls. I have Devlin kill some more animals for me, and we frost gallop home. When I return home, I feed them some dragon meals and transported them outside so they could grow even bigger. After that, I fed them even more so now they can at least defend themselves. I then armor them up so they won't be one-shot by bosses and other dragons. Aren't they all so pretty? Also, Viper and Asherion have some sort of incest going on over there or something. So naturally, once someone gets 4 more dragons, I take them for a spin. I hop on Neve and we go for a nice little flight. Of course, we encounter another dragon, and so a dragon fight begins. It's no problem for my minions as they quickly dispose of the dragon with their breaths. I need to give them a mint or something. After the battle, we fly into the sunset to be extra dramatic. I then hop on Searush to take him for a spin. I don't know whether I'm crazy or not, but Searush feels faster. We fly through the night sky like Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, and then come across some fairies. So I electrocute them to death. I return home and recruit Ire to our mission. We come across a raid and burn it down to the ground without questions because arson is always an answer. My dragons help me tear apart the raid, especially Neve right here. We then come across a giant and my dragons decimate it as I sit back and watch. Maybe dragons are a little too OP. We then come across another dragon. I'm surprised there are still so many left in the world. I begin the fight and my horde ends it. We are basically spawn killing the dragons at this point. So then, we fly home with a ton of meat and flesh to turn my dragons into Dwayne The Rock Johnson in preparation for the final challenges. This may be the last time we all fly together, though. Day 100. It is time for the final challenge. Number 1, Godzilla. Cue the epic music. My dragons did an excellent job with this. The next one should be easy as well. Now for the final challenge. We fight Mech Godzilla. This battle was beyond insane, and no matter how many arrows and flames we put into him, he wouldn't die. Eventually, his Charion succumbed to the explosions. I try and get directly involved in the battle and send Ire to fight from above, but I was blown around until Neve perished. I tried my best to help, but then Sirosh fell, and with that, I was destroyed, and it was over. I hopped on Ripple and grabbed my Leviathan for defense. We rode off into the sunset looking for a place. This is the spot. So I did what any person would do, and I laid their skulls side by side to soak up the last of the 100th day's rays. We watched the final sun go down, which marked the end of our journey. Thank you all so much for watching. It means a lot. Be sure to like and subscribe.